Hello and welcome to Three Dudes and a Lady. Uh, Hopefully, we can motivate you, illuminate you, and help you cope with your day. So, I am Mike Jones from Alexandria, Virginia, and my gratitude this morning is for life's little ironies that make you laugh.
Hey, good morning, folks. Hope everyone is doing well this morning on this Tuesday morning. My name is Earl Rule. I am from Raleigh, North Carolina. And my gratitude this morning is the beautiful sun outside because it helps the snow melt and it brightens our day. So that is my gratitude.
Good morning. My name's Jay Anderson, and Mike Jones stole where I was going to head with my gratitude. He chose life's little anecdotes to make you laugh, but laughing was the key theme because comedy is my gratitude. Folks, we got to laugh throughout the day. If not, we're going to cry a lot. There's no reason for crying when a major resource always in front of us is comedy. We just have to look for it and understand what it is. Take advantage of it. Mike Jones does.
Love that. Hey guys, I am Christine Wright, hailing out of Brooksville, Florida. My gratitude for the day is heat. I am nice and cozy in my office. It feels great in here. I love it. And today, Jay Shetty talked about solar power. We run on energy from the sun, right? And think about it, we are solar powered too to the sun. Our relationship with the sun and how to maximize its benefits. He talked about how he was struggling optimizing his health. He was doing all the things, right? Waking up on time, working out, eating good food, getting all the things he needed, right? But he was still feeling a little sluggish. And he went to the doctor and his vitamin D level was low. So the doctor prescribed him to go outside more, right? Our ancient ancestors spent far more time outside than we do today, right? We have a lot of screens in front of us. We don't necessarily go outside as much as we probably should. Um, our brain was designed to respond to the sun, right? Thanks to our modern day, like I'm saying, we don't actually live in the full benefits of the sun anymore. But the sunlight creates serotonin and gives us melatonin to help with our sleep wake patterns, right? And without the sun rays, there is no vitamin D. So the time you spend outdoors needs to be part of our healthy routine. You guys, this is such a strong one. Anytime I am sick, and I'm glad I live in the Sunshine State because we get lots of sun, right? And you guys, I'm probably outside more than most people ever are. I spend most of my time outside, even except for when it's cold. When it's cold, there's a difference. So the month of January and part of February, I'm probably not outside as much as I should be. And that's usually when I'm the sickest, right? Anytime I get really sick, I spend probably hours outside just sitting in the sun, basking in the sun, getting as much vitamin D as I possibly can. And a lot of times that will help me get through my illness quicker. But I started doing this like back in 2016 when I got really, really sick the first time. And that was one of the things that they were talking to me about is going outside. And even I look at Phoebe, my oldest daughter, who's 20. She does not go outside that often, and she is tired a lot. She does not like to go outside, but she's so tired all the time. We're trying to get her to go outside more. So she has acreage now. So hopefully that will help her to go outside more and get more of that vitamin D. What do you guys think? And we had this conversation about solar power before we ever even brought up Jay Shetty. So that was good.
That's what was so funny.
Yeah.
As soon as we were talking about solar power, and as soon as we see the topic, I just burst out laughing.
Yeah. It was good, right?
Was Big Brother listening and the selection came up? I mean, that was kind of odd.
Yeah, and the thing was, is I pulled it up, but I didn't look at the title. All I was doing was pausing it, so I didn't even know what the title was until I pulled it up to actually share the recording. So if you guys were part of the conversation before this, we were talking about solar power, and then Jay Shetty's conversation was about solar power, right? It was awesome.
in
Perfect
in
time.
a different frame, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely
Hey,
a different. Yeah, go
hey,
ahead, Eric.
I wanted to piggyback up to what you said about the sun, about the vitamin D that it brings us. For me personally, going out for like morning walks or even afternoon walks after lunch, getting that sunshine in, kind of gives you that little ray of energy. But also during the warm weather months, I enjoy morning trips to the beach. I love the beach in the morning when I can feel that sun, feel that sea breeze. It's very therapeutic for me, and it helps me to relax my mind and just gives me that energy that I need. And I praise God for giving me that at times. And sometimes we all need that. And trust me, being outdoors in the sun, that's God's blessing right there. And just having that energy to help you motivate your day is it's wonderful.
Yeah, it is, right? And when he was talking about watching the sun glisten off the water, like if like that is I could picture being on the boat and watching just when the sun is not fully risen yet and it's just got this glare, this bright glare off of the water. It's amazing. You can't beat it. Jay, Mike? Jay looks like he's in deep thought over there.
Jay's in deep
Yeah,
thought
he
over there.
is.
It's all
I
good,
I
baby.
thought
It's
I
all
had
good.
remembered something from something I read when I was in college, even, and I just looked it up on Google and did verify that our memory was correct. Artificial sweeteners, aspartame, are serotonin blockers. So as a society, we need solar power more than ever, right?
Yes, I did not realize that.
It is a it's associated with reduced brain serotonin and dopamine production, potentially causing mood disorders, headaches, cognitive impairment. Increased ingestion of aspartame leads to higher phenylalanine and aspartic acid levels, which can disrupt neurotransmitter synthesis. So,
Wow. I
solar
had no
powered sugar, baby.
solar power is sugar. That's crazy.
Way to go,
Well,
Dr. Jones.
Yeah.
Wow.
it does make sense for me because I can't drink anything diet. The aspartame, it gives me bad headaches and it does something to my tummy. So I know what I stay away from, but the aspartame, it makes sense because anything with aspartame, it has that warning logo on it. So that's
Yeah.
good point, Mike.
Yeah. That is a good point. Jay, you were in deep thought.
I think I still am.
It's
uh,
sunlight.
uh, Earl, you talked about having going outside, going to the beach, and the feeling of calmness coming over you is such a powerful feeling that we have as humans can have. And I started thinking back. Uh, this is where I kind of went down the rabbit hole, and I apologize, but I started thinking back when I was in the car business. When I first got into the car business, I was in finance, and uh, that is a unique position. It is something that you have to have an aptitude for. It's not something that if you don't have the aptitude, people training you are going to struggle because concepts are very important within that role. So aptitude has to be high. And I'm not trying to brag on myself or Christine. I'm just saying that it's just part of what it is. Anyways, I was stuck in an 8 by 8 room, no windows, uh, from 8 o'clock until 9 o'clock at night. Now, one says, well, you had breaks. You could eat lunch, you could get up, you could walk outside. Very true. However, there are those given days where from morning to night, you just have a hell of a traffic flow and you do not get up and get out. So I started thinking back to that and realizing maybe I wasn't my happiest at that time. And that's why I was so deep in thought. I was trying to remember maybe how I felt during that time frame. And here's the crazy part, okay? The money was excellent. So you keep doing, and your happiness may, what's the trade-off? I guess is where I'm heading with this. Because obviously the only thing that really propels you to move forwards out of that type of setup is the money. It is the greed factor that we have within ourselves to keep making more money. So I'm sitting there listening to this. If you look behind me, I've got huge windows, huge. And there's been a couple of times that I've wanted to move this to another room, uh, and I just can't bring myself to it. It's because of the beauty that I get to see on a daily basis. And I don't even care if it's cloudy outside. Sun does make it very nice. But even if it's cloudy, there's still beauty there. And it is vitamin D that, and Mike, I did not know that, there are suppressants that we as humans consume on a daily basis and just, didn't know that. But if you remember one thing, part of my gratitude was comedy. I think when I said that, I think the same applies with the subject of solar power. You get the vitamin D starts triggering things within your body. Well, happiness also triggers things within your body. And man, if you can combine those two together, it's going to make for a happy life.
For sure.
When I was younger, money was a motivator. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it whatsoever. It was the almighty thing that I chased. And there wasn't enough hours in the day for me to make as much as I wanted to make. As I got older, I realized that didn't buy me happiness. So my thing is I want to be happy. Please don't get me wrong. I'm in a 1099 job, meaning I don't ever want to be capped, and I still want the ability to make whatever I can, however I can. Okay. And money, I still have to make it, still have to produce it to live. But it is the mindset that I'm more interested in protecting than I am the financial ends of things, because when you protect that mindset, you're a happy person when you protect that mindset. You're making negativity go away. You have to have a little bit of negativity. I mean, that's just part of human nature. It's going to happen on a daily basis. But as much as we can protect our mindset, as much as we can smile and laugh, and as much as the sun, guys, here's a comparison. When you go to church and you leave church and you paid attention to that sermon that day, there's something that goes through one's body that says, I feel good about myself. It's just a feeling that people have. I feel good about myself. Going out in the sun is the same type of feeling. It's like, and Earl, you said it best, that calmness that comes over you puts you in that state.
Exactly, Jay. And
Go ahead.
Jay, oh,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
Christine.
Go ahead.
Um, Mentioning about the beach, but also what you just mentioned about church, when we listen to the pastor's message, and a lot of times, ironically enough, it actually resonates while we're about to enter in our week. It's really interesting how that happens, because it could be something about family, it could be our personal life, whatever it is, it resonates, and we just take what resonates, and just follow up with it. And a lot of times on a sunny morning, you're listening to your favorite music, whatever, makes you happy. You walk into that sun and knowing that, you know what, I'm not going to let any negativity ruin my day. I'm going to be happy, and starting out the week right, I think is important. And also thinking about solar power, what Jay Shetty was talking about. I remember in my previous career as a truck driver, I used to go out to the farms to deliver their boxes, their packaging material. And I can't tell you how many times it felt so good to go out in the morning. The sun would come out onto the farmland, to smell that fresh country air. It makes you feel good in the morning. And it's how they live out there. And
That
just
and
no,
the fresh air and cow shit, man, it's a combination, isn't it?
I actually think I didn't smell much of the cow crap. I didn't smell much of the cow crap, but it was the first cut of grass, the first cut of grass. Jay, you're trying to get me going. I know you are.
Sorry.
Guys, well, think about like, have you guys ever been to somebody's house that has windows, right? They have a lot of windows, but they
Oh
keep
yeah.
the curtains closed. They don't ever open them.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I have a family member like that. She doesn't ever open her curtains, ever. Her house is basically a fortress, right? Like it's almost like and she does live in the city, so maybe that has something to do with it, right? She doesn't live in a rural area. Because when we first moved here to Florida, like 11 years ago, I think now, 11 or 12 years ago, I have like 3 huge sliding glass doors on the backside of my house. And granted, I do live in the country. I have some acreage, and somebody really would have to they'd have to climb a fence to get into our yard, to go behind our house or you'd have to know me as a person to know that all of my sliders didn't have curtains on them for the longest time. Now I have curtains on 2 of them, but one of them, the whole thing is just open because I want that natural sunlight. And since it's been cold, I haven't been opening a couple of the curtains yet because it's too cold and I'd rather keep the cold out and heat in. But I feel like out of place whenever, because my morning routine is opening up all my blinds so that the sunlight can come in. Like I love natural light, like love it. Now, do I have to turn lights on sometime? Yes, absolutely, right? Not all the sunlight's going to come in, but it's like that's one thing that you could change out of your daily routine is making sure that you have blinds open and are letting the sunlight and natural light come into your home. Not saying it's as beneficial as going out in the sun, but it's going to help a little at least. I don't know.
Well, I love how technology has come along with. Not, I don't want to use the word technology. I don't think that's the proper term, but the way they built some of these new houses, or if they take an older house and kind of flip it and put in new windows, how it can give the house a facelift, but also save on your energy bill as well. But it gives it a nice dynamic look and it makes you feel good inside. And it's like, okay, this is my home. You look at these beautiful new windows with, maybe your choice of blinds, whatever suits your boat, as well as the doors. I mean, it's it's amazing, especially when you live out in the country, how really it can make you feel every day blessed to have your home the way it is. It gives you a positive mindset.
But it's still the most inefficient part of anybody's house of your windows. But we are
Well, yeah,
so
true.
but we are so heliocentric, we don't live in bunkers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wonder, and maybe you guys know, I do not know. That's the reason I'm getting ready to ask this question here. I wonder if there is a correlation with depression and anxiety and lack of vitamin D.
There is
Oh
absolutely.
yeah, of course.
Going like my daughter's therapist has actually said that before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's almost like if you go outside and get that sunlight and that natural serotonin, right? It's natural instead of having it be artificially,
Yeah.
right? Or you're using something that blocks the serotonin, right? Or you know what I mean? Like if it's artificially flavored, it's probably going to block it, right? So that affects, and think about the foods and the what we have access to now probably has more of those serotonin blockers in it than we know, right? So it's actually
Right.
blocking that. And then you're not going outside on top of it. I mean, I always thought like we were thinking that Phoebe's iron levels were low, and maybe they are, but maybe they would be higher if for one, she ate more vegetables, and for two, she went outside more. I don't know.
Well,
Is the serotonin the happy hormone or is it dopamine?
Well, think about like is serotonin, I think so. Serotonin is like not that dopamine is the happy one, but
Yeah.
serotonin is like a happy release. But think about the people that live in Alaska. There's a lot of mental stuff up there because even when I lived in Wisconsin, you guys, there was times where we didn't see the sun and we couldn't go outside because it was too cold, right?
right,
Mhm.
right.
And there's a lot more of mental stuff going on up there because of that, right? Because they're not allowed to go outside. I mean, in Alaska, they don't even have sunlight some parts of the time, you know?
And that can be a challenge for certain people, especially, I mean, living in the wintertime, fall, when you get that daylight savings time, or that time change, sometimes it can affect people, especially either in the
Oh,
morning.
yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, right, yeah. And for me personally, as soon as
I
spring and
couldn't
summer
bring up
hits,
Jay.
morning, oh yeah, the sunny morning, I say, yes, let's new day, let's go.
And I've talked about this before, Earl, when years ago when I was in the car business
Mhm.
and I worked for a store that stayed open till 9 o'clock. Okay.
Mhm.
And when daylight savings changed and it got darker earlier in the fall and
Mhm.
winter, your mood was shitty. Everybody was testy with one another, and you never realize what's going on. Why is everybody in such a foul mood? Well, I'll tell you why. You wake up, you go to work before sunlight, and you look outside and it's closing time and it's dark. Where did your day go? Your sales force were fortunate that they could go out on the lot and spend time outside. But when you were doing other duties, you didn't have that liberty. And I'm just, I don't know, maybe there's memory lapse going on here, but I'm trying to think my feelings back then, and I'm not sure that I can pull them. I do suspect that I probably was a bear to be around.
I was. Because Jay, I was like you. Well, at first I was in a cubicle with no window. And then I got moved to a newer office where I had a window. I could see the lot, like I could see outside, but it's still not the same as going outside, right? And I'm sure a lot of people get like that. Like, if you can't access sunlight or be outside in nature, just being outside in nature will help sometimes too. Like it helps keep us grounded.
I just can't help thinking of and Earl, I go back to you because you're the one discussing the beach, the feeling, the calmness, the peace that you felt. It is a strong feeling for me when I feel those things. Uh, it's in nature. I get that. And Christine, you just said that. It is a feeling that I get when I walk outside and no phones, no communications or whatever. It's one reason that I love to fish. It is just a very relaxing thing for me. Bless you, Mr. Jones. He was sneezing.
Yep.
Anyways, uh, the one thing, and I want to go back to religion for a second, only because it's important to me. I don't give a rat's butt about the rest of you here, but I want to say this. When it is that you go to a church or you view a sermon or whatever it is, and you have that peace of mind and calmness over you, and you feel good about yourself, to me, that is a proven point that your faith, and whatever that faith may be, was just renewed. It made that faith that much stronger in whatever that faith may be, because you felt that. And I wanted to say that earlier, and we just kept getting sidetracked because Earl bought that. We were discussing that just a little bit, but there's beauty in behind that. Don't ever let the feeling go, and take the time and recognize these feelings, because that's what Jay Shetty is trying to get us to do. That is really, the content is one thing, but the recognition is the most common thread that he has through all these things of the content. And that recognition is us paying attention to what's going on around us. Mike, you were getting ready to say something. I saw it on the tip of your tongue.
It could be me trying to hold back a sneeze, but anyway. I keep thinking about Mount Vernon. I live near Mount Vernon, George Washington's home, and I was fortunate enough to have me involved with a sunrise service there for many years. And watching the sun rise above trees that they've been there for hundreds of years, I think it just does something to the soul.
It must. I just got chills when you said that. So,
And you made me think of sunrise service at Easter time.
Yeah, that's what we would do.
yeah, that's awesome.
Leaving the house in the dark wasn't fun, but
Right.
we knew what the result would be.
But right, you knew the end game. Right. It's just so interesting. Well, folks, I think it's easy to see that we're not licensed therapists, and it's one reason that we do go down the rabbit holes is because we get to explore our feelings and share our feelings and cross-reference ideas out there. And it's interesting how we go about it. And we just think that you guys would enjoy listening to it, and hope that you enjoy it and pay attention to what's going on. We do this through an app called Calm, CALM. And inside that app, we tap into Jay Shetty, and that's SHETTY. And we hope you join us on a daily basis.
And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for some more good content like this. And I hope that we put some sunshine into your day.
Peace.
This is
Peace.